For P3, you just have one slide, but you're asked to describe. So you're not just naming things, you're describing them in a little bit more detail what you mean by that. And you're asked to describe factors that need to be considered when going online. Oh, another unfinished bracket. So the assignment discusses things they need to do about planning, things they need to do about implementing and getting on with it, things about staffing, finance and security. So, questions a company might ask itself. So what are the factors, what do they have to ask themselves before they decide whether to have a website? So, things that I expect to see in this. They might ask themselves whether this is the sort of website that actually needs, the sort of company that actually needs a website. If they have enough custom already, if they're a very local custom and they expect just to be get their business from recommendations, or on the other hand, if they are quite secretive and do something quite private, they might not want that. Is it suitable? Primark, until very recently, didn't have a website, or well, they had a website, they didn't sell on it because their products sold so quickly that it would have cost them too much to have somebody do all the photography, and then before the next products were coming in the week after. TK Maxx is a very similar one. They have a website that just tells you roughly what they do, but not their actual products each week. Another thing they need to do is they need to decide on what domain name they're going to use. So what's the website name going to be? It's really important. If they choose a name that is too long, people won't get it right and will type the wrong thing. It has to make sense. It has to be linked to the name of their company. I read the newspaper The Guardian very often, and it was only just the other day that I realised that their website is actually The Guardian, because I went on to guardian.com and it turns out that's a completely different company. It's a steel industry company. So you've got to be really careful that you spell it a way that is most likely to be remembered. Other questions that a company might ask itself. Should they set up the website themselves? Do they have the technical skills and the design skills? Or should they get somebody to pay it? Do we have enough money to get somebody to do that job? Will they understand what our business is about? Will they be able to help us? Will they be, is the money, do we have the money for it? And will it be beneficial to have someone outside? Or perhaps we have someone in our business who maybe the business is shrinking and they have less work. What can we do for them? Well, if they have those skills, we can get them to do that for us. Remember, they also must think about if they are going to make a website, it needs to be updated regularly. If it's out of date, no one will trust it. So they need to say, can they do it themselves? Should someone else do it? Do they have the skills? Do they have the time? Do they have the money for all the updates? Once you get into it, you've got to keep into it. You need also to build relationships. So some companies, lots of businesses now, have things that make you tied more closely to that business. Amazon Prime, for example, because you pay an ongoing fee, you're more tied to that business. If you Tesco have their card, so by having a card and having an account, you get certain benefits. I'm just going to pause this and I'm just going to add a couple more things to this slide. And then also, a business needs to decide if it is going to have a website, it must make sure that it considers security really very seriously. Days were, those websites that you may have seen for P2, the time was when you could just make your own website and you could just host it from your own machine. Now you have to have very high protection. If customers put their information onto your website, you must make sure that that data cannot be got out, cannot be stolen. So it has to be protected. You also must make sure that you have a safe way for customers to pay for their goods. And one of the things that customers should see on a website now, I'm just going to go on to what's interesting is this this Wayback Machine does not have, it's HTTP, it's not HTTPS. I believe if I go on to going to go for me. It's not going to give me the HTTPS, but I can see the padlock here, so I know that this company has made sure that their data is secure and it is protected and encrypted. So, very briefly, your P3 is saying what, if a business is going to think about having a website, what should they think about before they do that? And your answers include things like they need to consider what type of business it is, whether they need one, whether they can afford one, what name they should give to the company, to the website, not too long, not too short, it's something to do with the business, it's not already used. There are a lot of ways of getting that bit wrong. Should they do it themselves or get someone else to do it? And that will be decided on whether they've got someone with spare time, someone with the skills, whether they trust someone outside to do it, if they go into it, if they can go updating it, whether they should include some sort of relationship, some sort of thing, there goes my cat, something to tie customers in and make them stay, and whether they how they are going to make sure that customers are held safe, their data is held safe, and that the customers, when they pay, are safe as well, and that their website is not going to get hacked. Right, if anyone can find the thing to pause it.